Is it starting? Okay. Should we just come in and check into the camera or something? Yeah, we're recording. She knows who I am.
You're supposed to say hi, Laura.
Hi, Laura.
Hey. Hi. Laura.
Hi, Laura.
How's it going?
We should also wait like 5 minutes and finish this one. How many questions are there? 1, 2, 3. Like, most like 10 or 10 to 15 responses. Because we don't want to, if we want to hit everything on the board, like I guess we should just cap it. Like after a while, we should just move on.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes she'll cut it off.
Just wait for the cameras. Hello.
I'm here.
Is someone moderating?
Yeah. Is that everybody or?
Where's Nate?
Yeah, we're missing.
Yeah, it's usually
Let's wait like 2 more minutes and then start. Yeah, we got.
She said we can wait for 5:30.
Yeah, so that should be it for now.
Shoot,
Kill more time.
Yeah.
Alright.
Long, thoughtful pause.
Yeah, okay.
11 there.
Yeah, okay. You got hours sleep last night, so it wouldn't be surprising if.
I got one more.
He has to fill out a lot of paperwork for some stuff. What are the guys picking up what I'm saying?
Yes, we should.
I don't know, he's shooting papers. But.
Cool. We'll start on 4 minutes. So 1 more minute.
Hi, Laura.
Oh,
Yeah. Awesome. Isaac, can I steal that other seat?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I've seen other professors chock full of everything.
You guys check in.
Yeah, I just waved.
That's all. Yeah. Alright, so let's get started. So, I don't know what a moderator is. I don't really care.
Okay.
So, we all watched everything. It's on Crowd today, right? Yeah. Alright, so I'll just go ahead and read them. Since I didn't read. Alright, so let's just start off with the first question. Might there be an objective standards that exceed my own desires or preferences?
Exceed?
What does that mean?
Anybody know?
Yeah, no, it's like, I mean, because you know how Aristotle's objective standards are like super, wow, you have to be at this exact place in between this virtue and this vice, and is that standard higher than my conception, my personal conception of what it would take for me to be happy?
Higher?
Like more difficult.
Brennan, sorry.
I know Crowd in the article mentions, he uses the example of a guy who has friends who are lying to him about like really being his friend, and he's saying that guy would feel happy, but would we say that he's objectively happy? Crowd makes the point that we probably wouldn't, and he thinks that Aristotle would make the same point, which I guess kind of leads into this question, that means there's an objective standard that he's not meeting, that even though he doesn't know about it and he feels happy, he's not experiencing true happiness or eudaimonia. I would personally disagree with that, because I think that everyone has a subjective view of the situation. I mean, we have our own biases, we have our own experiences that kind of color the way we look at things. And who are we to say that he's not happy if he's feeling that happiness, even if it changes after the fact? He still felt that during that time.
Okay. I do.
So, first of all, I don't think that would necessarily be a counterexample, because it's an issue of his subjective desires being that, like, his friends are really whatever when it turns out they're deceiving him. And this is a question, I think, of whether the objective standards versus his own desires. But I think, nonetheless, there could be objective standards because we don't always know what would make us happy. I mean, like a person who's like, into drugs or whatever, and thinks, this is great for me, I'm getting pleasure, and 20 years down the line it's going to ruin his life. Once you're talking about happiness in the sense of a happy life, not just like happy at a moment, I would say definitely we can say, just like a parent would say to a kid, like, people don't always know what they want. There are definitely certain objective standards that are more important than a person's subjective idea of what he thinks he wants.
Do you think you would have to regret those actions, though?
If you mean, probably. I mean, like if a person could live his entire life being happy, like just with drugs, is that the question?
Yeah, I guess, as an extreme example.
Okay. Luke and then Will and then Zach.
Yeah, I mean, I think.
You'll probably have to speak up also.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I think I kind of agree with Isaac, although I might go a different way. But I mean, it's to communicate if someone thinks they're happy. They may very well be happy. But the thing is, you can tell if you tell them something and they want to change it to be happier, then those are standards that are beyond the self. I mean, I would delve deeper into their psychology and say it's deeper within themselves and like some maybe not very philosophical Freudian ways, like that it's not actually above themselves, but I think of it metaphorically as like deeper within them. But it's a really good way. It's really good for communicating to people. If someone is telling me they're happy and they just hurt someone and they think that hurting someone is a good thing, then my way of communicating that why they should change is I say like, well, you could be happier if you chose to treat people in a way that humanizes them and makes it feel like that you're not alone in the world, that anyone can just be killed or whatever. So I think it's a good way to communicate. I don't know if it necessarily exists in any kind of like Platonic form kind of way, but I don't think Aristotle does either. As I think Baby Kraut seems to say he does.
Okay.
Sure.
Did you?
Would you say you're aligning yourself with having a subjectivist view, or with the extreme subjectivist view?
I'd probably come closest to that, yeah.
Because I think that Crowd is making a simple point in that there's something funny we feel about the guy being deceived. I guess what I'm wondering is, would that ever, like, if he never found out? Well, okay, I guess you could save subjectivism in that he would, if he did find out, he would be very upset. But at the same time, I feel like Crowd is making a kind of a simple point in that, like, rather than, he sets up an extreme that there are no standards beyond the pure psychological state of the person who's experiencing it. And I feel like he's just saying that there's a little bit beyond that. We might not have cleared sets of objective standards that are agreed upon, but there's something that's outside of the individual.
I guess my kind of viewpoint is that like it's very true, and like I do feel funny reading that example. Like I feel like, well, man, you might not be living the full life, but I don't think that my subjective viewpoint on that is higher necessarily than his, just because they both stem from subjective experiences and that kind of thing. I don't